Hey, Craig, let's get into some coffee talk.
Hey, I love it. I love doing some coffee talk.
Well, talk about what?
Dogs, daughters, whatever. It's coffee talk.
Coffee talk.
Hey, it's a coffee talk.
Oh, it's a coffee talk.
It sure is.
Mr. Craig,
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm great. Friday fun day.
It always is. Every day is fun day, right?
It really is fun. It's fun overbooking.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Overbooking and feeling like we're under delivering, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of under delivery happening today.
That's what she
Yeah, he did.
said. Huh?
You can't please all the people all the time, but you
No,
can please some of
you-
the people some of the time? Or is it the other way
Yep.
around?
Some of the people, some of the time. But we're going for the biggest net, which actually brings up a great point. We were kind of going through, I think I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago, we were going through our service team and like going through meetings and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
When you come to a point where you're putting new processes into place and everything, you come to this point where you're trying to make decisions and it's like, but what about this, right? So any new process, it's always, but what about this? But it's like you got to look at it from what is going to be the best process to serve 80%, not the 20%, because there's always going to be variables where whatever process you have isn't going to fit everything into place. And usually that's the stumbling block that puts that causes us to think, maybe let's do this later. Like we'll come up with a better idea or something, but you just need it. You need the bulk of it to be taken care of. And if you have a process and it's getting tracked and measured, then you can constantly improve it. But you got to get on the field if you're going to run the race. So
Got to take action.
Otherwise, you could push that thing off. You can always push it off. Oh, okay, we'll just wait until we have a better process. You got to have a process, though.
Yeah. Perfection is the enemy of implementation.
Yeah. It is, man. It's so easy to sit on the sidelines.
Yeah. There's a
feel
really
overwhelmed.
there's a really good book called The E-Myth Revisited. That's it's about business I believe it's in there. If not, it's in the something startup. But either way, it's a concept called minimum viable product, right? And that is like a lot of people will go take this approach of if you build it, they will come, right? So you make everything, you build out the whole thing, and then crickets. And it's the same thing with building the processes in the agency or trying something new. You can't spend all the time putting just all the granular details together and making it happen, because then what if it doesn't work? You spend all that time on the front. It's almost like if you're going to build a city and you're going down this road and you just keep building the next block in front of the cars so that they're seeing the whole city, but it's actually not built. And you build it, and then it also makes it much easier to pivot, right? Because you got to pivot.
100%. Yep. That's it. And I think that so many times we wait to have the blueprints for the whole city before we build it. But gosh, I mean, you and I both know this. In the process of building it is how you learn, like to your point, to pivot or even where to go. Because by the time you're done with a project, whatever it may be, this could be anything new that you do. If you're waiting to have that finished product before you throw it out there, or finished process before you throw it out there, then you don't learn anything. And learning is through implementation. Like you can, as you learn, it's so crazy. You always start somewhere and you have this idea in your head, but if you start running with it right away, by the end of it, it's a totally different thing.
Yep.
A totally different thing. And you would never have come up with that if you didn't just start implementing.
Yeah. I think it's, our dome up here, it talks us out of doing things. We'll come up with a million excuses because we don't want to fail. We don't want to look bad. We don't want people to laugh at us. So we don't do it. But look at us. I mean, we've been doing this and people have been laughing the whole time, and who cares? You know,
People laugh at me all the time, Craig.
yeah. I mean, come on. So, but it doesn't matter, right? Like, you know, who's really laughing are the ones that are doing it, watching all the other ones pointing the finger, because, you know, what are they doing?
Right. And it's funny because you don't like, you know, you don't want to screw up. You don't want to get anxiety. You get anxiety because, you know, it's got to be perfect, but there's no worse anxiety than never starting, because you have all this pressure on you. The longer it takes you to do something, the more pressure you put on yourself, the more pressure you might think with other people, what people are going to think if you keep telling them that you're going to do this thing and you don't do it. Then it's building up so that it's got to be amazing when it comes out, which it still doesn't. But that's kind of like that. It's this anxiety-ridden ball that just keeps building up.
Look at so Jason and I are in this coaching group. It's called the 2CC coaching group with ClickFunnels. So we're in this group. We paid a whole lot of money to be part of this coaching deal where we're learning a ton. And some of our peers in the group, well, we're the only ones that really have a fleshed out podcast and it's only because we've just been doing it for a long time. And the questions you get are all of these questions like, oh, should I do this? What should I say? And it's like, just go. It doesn't matter, because at the beginning, I mean, from some of the guests that we've had recently and the conversations that we have are so much more powerful than at the beginning, right? We were fumbling around. We didn't know what we were doing. We had terrible mics. You know, all of the things weren't perfect, but we were doing it and we were learning each time because we were doing it.
Right. And now we're kind of revisiting, we're doing some, like a rewind reel that you guys hear, on, you know, every once in a while we'll throw back an old episode, and then it'll just pop on my podcast at the end of like somebody else's podcast. So, and then I'll listen to it for a few seconds and I'll be like, ooh, that was really painful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that this is getting, I'm going to listen back to this in 6 months and think the same thing. I mean, that's just natural.
Yeah. Your 6-month forward version of yourself is going to be such a better deliverer of whatever you're doing because of what you did 6 months ago. But if you don't get off your ass and start doing it, nothing's going to happen. And 6 months is going to go by. I
always find it. So I always think about the Beatles. It's so interesting to me that they were only together. Yeah. For 7 years.
That's
so in
insane.
7 years, if you think about the very beginning when they were this pop band to the very end when they're writing prolific, you know, music. Well, I mean, I guess for pop genre, like it changed, like it evolved so much. You think of the end Beatles to the beginning and you're like, that's worlds apart. But it was 7 years. They came out with an album in less than a year. Every album was less than a year. They just kept going. They condensed probably 20, 30 years down to 7 years.
Well, they introduced psychedelics to the equation and that kind of.
Hence the long hair.
Yeah.
Those ruffians.
And beards.
Dubious.
But yeah, like look at how quickly, because they just went out and did it. And there was a point when John, Ringo, Paul, and why am I forgetting?
John, Ringo, Paul, and
I could picture him. He died.
Bass player.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is embarrassing.
Everybody's going, "You idiots!" They're yelling. See, I mean,
we are idiots. That's the point.
Yeah. But they at one point over in Liverpool were playing in a bar and thinking, we suck. There's no way we could ever break through. And then they did, you know, because they kept doing it. You know, Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point, and he has a bunch of different books, but he talks about that and he brings up the Beatles. It's that whole 10,000 hours, right? It's not the 10,000 hours of planning. It's the 10,000 hours of doing, right? Kobe is, in my opinion, I bet some people would say it's LeBron or it's or
don't argue with yourself before you come out with a thought.
but at the end of the day, it's look, Kobe went to practice early. Kobe stayed late. Kobe spent more time. He spent the 10,000 hours doing what he did. He may have had a little bit better natural ability, but it wasn't a billion times better. Anybody that says, oh, he's just naturally athletic, they're taking away from what he did. Right. And anybody that's successful at anything, it's only because you spent more time doing it. I mean, us writing all the business, doing it the way that we do, is just because we've been doing it longer and we keep doing it. And man, I mean, last year in December, I was crying, spending money and not getting results. And I stuck with it, and then boom. Right. And it's the same thing. Anything you can, you are 10 years away from being the best guitar player.
Right.
All you got to do is do it all day long.
Yep.
Brandon said that you are the best drummer that he's ever met. He said that you are the best living drummer that exists.
I don't know about anymore, Mr. Craig.
Well, but only because you haven't been practicing, right? You took away those 10,000 hours that you put into it.
Right. Yeah. No, it's true. Like this is a great lesson in general. Like I need this lesson all the time, is just do it. Cause there's a lot of planning, and that's not to discredit planning and processes, cause you got to have those, but you got to start
to do that part.
Yeah. Well, but you got to start everything. You got to start. And it's a lesson that I think everybody needs to constantly think about. Like time is short. We've learned that in 2020, right? That things change fast, especially now. And just do. Like I know everybody has that 1 or 2 or 3 things on their mind that they've probably been putting off. It's the end of the year. Just do it. Like whatever it is, you're going to get rid of anxiety. You're going to, who cares if it costs a little money to implement whatever you guys are thinking. It is. Like it might be that thing at home. Like, dude, for me, it was like the garage was a disaster and I had to pay someone to come out and haul away some garbage. But dude, that was a huge weight off me, and I'm able to work better because of it. Cause that's like that thing was like weighing on me, right? Every time I walk by it and stuff. So it's like all those little things, just do it. Just do whatever you need to do, just do it.
People get the fear around the money when you spend the money on the business. Like, oh, I'm not going to be able to take out money, or I'm not going to, it's like, look, you're going to take out the money, you're going to waste it. We were talking to a real great guest for the Future Summit. And he said, you can take that $1,000, buy the $1,000 shoes, or you can take that $1,000 and put it back into your business and turn it into 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, whatever, right? It just multiplies. So anything that you put in your business, even if it's into a tactic that doesn't necessarily work, well, you've learned from that. You've learned from that thing. So everything is an investment. I mean, how much do people spend on college? Hundreds of thousands of dollars for some piece of paper that really, unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, I don't even see, or an engineer. I guess there's a lot of careers that you can get out of that. But I don't feel that like I got my money's worth out of college. I learned more in business, doing business, than I did in the business classes that I took.
100%. And I got in what I learned, because I just went back to school like 8 years ago or whatever. And what I learned was more of, I was working full time at the time and I had multiple kids, and I was like, how do I balance all this? How do I do more in less time? Or how do I get more done in my day? I learned that I had to work out. I had to eat healthy at the time. I was working more than full time.
You still have to eat healthy, Mr. Jason.
I do, in order, honestly, the last couple of days I've been eating a straight diet when I haven't been this year, because I've been enjoying the cakes and ice cream.
Yeah, well, they're good. They're good.
They are good, but they slow me down. Like I was like, dude, I'm sick of feeling not 100%. So I started eating healthy again, and but all of it is it's just you learn a lot of stuff through the process. So my point with school is that the process of going to school and just having that on my plate, and I was making straight A's, which I never made back in my day, I was setting myself up for a new standard. And I got used to this new thing. That's what I learned out of school.
Sharpening the sword, Mr. Jason.
That's it.
Sharpening it,
Sharpen that sword, Mr. Craig.
Sharpen
so do it. Whatever you guys have, do it. If you've been thinking about it for a long time, implement it. Life is short, right, Mr. Craig?
It sure is.
Mr. Craig knows this.
Yeah, 48 now.
He's very close to death.
Pretty much closer to death than to birth, which is not great. It's not great news.
What, birth or death?
Death.
Okay.
But at least I have the antibodies.
True.
I'm selling antibody blood for
Mr. Craig.
probably illegal.
Yeah,
So click the link below. Well, this has just gone awry.
This has, but do it. Whatever that thing is on your mind.
Yeah.
And you know what you actually should do right now? Pick up your cell phone.
Pick up your phone. Here, look like this. Hold on. Pick it up. We're going to give you 2 seconds.
Pick it up.
Pick it up. All right.
You got it.
Got
Now
it.
Plug in 520
Mm-hmm.
214 2219. Now I'm going to do this one more time. 520-214-2219. Me and Mr. Craig are going to pick up our cellular telephones when you pick up yours and you text us. You give us a text message, if you will, and we will text message you back. And honestly, our texting community is growing. It's super fun. We have a lot of fun, don't we, Mr. Craig?
Oh, we sure do. They do get some great messages, and we will answer. Jason will answer better because I'm still learning how to work this finagle machine. I'm 48.
A cellular telephone. Yeah.
It's
It's not like the old rotary. He tries to spin his phone around.
Yeah, I'm like,
Next thing you know,
it doesn't. Where's the little circle thing? I'm
right. Operator.
Give me a 601.
Awesome. So we also started another podcast. If you guys want to check it out, Teledudes, telemarketing, telefunnels. You can hear all about that side of what's super exciting for us that we're doing and a whole bunch of other agents are doing. Or reach out on our website, whatever.
Yeah. Or go to the webinar.
Webby.
Go to the Webby, live.teledudes.com.
Yep.
Or don't. It's okay too.
But have a good weekend. Have a good
Yes.
week. And just crush it.
Just crush it. We'll see
Just
ya.
do it.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium
Yes.
off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.